So there was a graph that I've tweeted out several times.
Okay.
Conservatives tend to read mostly conservative news, and around 30 to 35% is liberal news.
Okay.
Moderates tend to read the inverse, around 60% liberal sources and 35% conservative sources.
Okay.
Still both.
Liberals, 95% liberal sources.
Yep.
I wonder if that's actually not, correlation, but causation, that because liberals only read liberal news, they're liberal. If a person reads mostly liberal stuff but some conservative, they'll be moderate.
Okay.
If a person only reads conservative, they'll be conservative. Or even if they read mostly conservative. And if a person reads only liberal, they'll be liberal. It's really funny then that you actually have conservative and moderates mostly, agreeing and disagreeing on some policy issues, but like getting along.
Yeah.
Because that's like the left. But then you have the liberal faction of people who just read the left. Is the left just becoming people who they're not smart? You know what I mean? Like, certainly there are smart leftists.
They're just surrounded. I mean? See, the thing is that, like you said it earlier, all right, the left, they don't follow the right. The right, they follow the right and the left, right? The journalists, I'm saying. So
no, but everyone does too. Like, conservatives read liberal and conservative news.
Yeah, okay.
Moderates, same.
But the people on the left are only following their own circles. So that breeds, like, stupidity almost, Like, I can't think of a better word, but
critical
that's basically
thinking.
what I'm seeing.
Like, if you show this website to any rational person, they'll laugh and be like, what is this?
Yeah.
You look down and it says paid for by Trump. You're like, what? They're making fun of Biden.
It's like they didn't even watch the video. Like, what?
Well, there's something that happens when you're talking to someone with an opposing view that might be actually the correct view, and you think something else, and you have a debate, and then you change your mind, and then, oh, okay, you know what? Now we're on the same page. That's great. The people on the left, they don't like that. It's almost, like you said, over emotions, of feelings.
Yeah.
And that's what the left is. They're just a ball of emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
They don't care to hear about facts or whatever anyone else is saying, because it's triggering them and at a raw level. They're like, logic gets thrown out the window because it's all emotions at that point.
So I was on when I was on Rogan with Dorsey and Vijay Gadde and Joe. We were talking about how in 2016, left-wing journalists don't follow right-wing journalists, but right-wing journalists follow both left and right.
Right, that makes sense.
Jack said it was getting better. Like, it's changing. I disagree. And I think
Lydia disagrees too.
I do. I was making a face like this. Yeah, that's not happening. That is not changing. That is not getting better. Sorry, I make faces.
The reason, and this is proof, if you follow any conservative, you would have seen Truth Over Facts light up your Twitter feed like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
None of them knew what this was. You know what gets even crazier?
Oh, enlighten us.
They didn't even Google it.
They didn't.
What is this?
So easy.
It's like all you had to do was just type it in, and this pops up, and it's so obvious. Come on.
They didn't even do that.
Come on.
Talk
You
about
have
due diligence.
one job.
To Google things.
This is crazy.
That's your job.
And I was at Politicon a couple of years ago, and there was a panel with the guy from Media Matters. David Pakman was on it. A couple other people, I don't remember who. Lauren Chen, I think.
Okay.
And we all asked. It was a Q&A session, and I went up and asked, "How are we supposed to, trust these outlets when they don't even have fact checkers anymore? They've fired them all, and they don't do it." And I got a really awful response. But it was funny because it was supposed to be like a fake news panel or something, and they're like, "Well, the job of the journalist as they're writing is to fact check the news." And I'm like, man, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. That's clearly not the case.
Yep.
Fact checkers are independent for a reason.
Right.
So that when the journalist writes the story, someone from a different department on a different floor makes several phone calls and says, is what they're claiming true?
Right.
That way, if you have one person who's in charge of their own fact checking, they're gonna just lie. 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 Lie.